evening and welcome to the August 6th, 2025 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. This meeting is being held virtually via Zoom video conference and is also being broadcast by FCTV on cable channel 9. As this meeting is being recorded by Zoom and broadcast by FCTV, please be cognizant of what you say, how you say it, and what can be seen and heard in your background. We are missing one commissioner. However, we have a quorum, so we are moving forward. I'd like to remind the commissioners that for commenting, I will call on each of you in turn, so please refrain from speaking over each other. Also, all votes are done by roll call, so when I call your name, please state your name and your vote for the record, even if you've made the motion or seconded it. To our public attendees, at any time during this meeting, you may enter any comment or questions via the chat function. At the appropriate time, they will be read into the record. If as an attendee, you'd like to participate in a particular hearing, let us know via the chat function, and then at the appropriate time, you will be promoted into the hearing as a participant. When you are selected, you must have your video enabled and be succinct and respectful of others. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes each. RDAs, under request for determination of applicability, the applicant is asking the commission to determine if the provisions of the Mass Wetlands Protection Act and/or the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw apply to their proposed project. A negative determination is that the provisions of the Act and/or the bylaw do not apply. Therefore, the project may proceed as proposed. A positive determination means the provisions of the Act and/or bylaw do in fact apply and or may require some conditions. Therefore, the project would require a notice of intent application. So as an applicant, you want to hear a negative determination on the RDA. For the benefit of anyone waiting for a particular hearing tonight, and so that you are not waiting unnecessarily, the following hearings are continued. 15 Moses Road has been continued until requested continuance until August 13th. I think that's all we had, wasn't it, Alyssa?
Yep, it was just that one and an enforcement for.
Oh, yeah, okay. And the enforcement for that's just the other half of that 15 Moses Road, right?
Oh, yes, yeah, the 357 West Falmouth Highway is the other.
West Falmouth Highway. Okay. Very good. All right. The first order of business is we're going to go into executive session, so we won't be too long. So what we're going to have to do is exit this meeting. We'll put it on hold and enter into executive session, and then we will return and continue with tonight's agenda. All right, so I need a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go into executive session, Patton.
Driscoll second.
So we have a motion by Steve and a second by Ron Driscoll to go into executive session. Courtney.
Courtney, can't hear you.
Okay.
Bird eye.
Courtney's an aye. Steve.
Patton's an eye.
Oh, wow. Ron Driscoll.
Driscoll aye.
Thank you, Ron.
There it is. Patton,
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Dave.
Kent aye.
And Robbins is aye. Okay, we're going into executive session. Okay, we're back in session, regular session. So we vote the minute. Next up is vote minutes of July 16th, 2025.
We'll make a motion to accept the minutes of July 16, 2025 with any corrections made in this meeting.
Driscoll second.
Okay, any other comments from anybody, corrections? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the roll on accepting the minutes of the 16th of, July 16th. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Thumbs up.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie, oops, no Ronnie. Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins, aye. So 5 and 1 abstention right now. How about July 23rd?
Mr. Chair, I will make a motion to accept the minutes as written with any additional corrections made at this meeting.
Driscoll, second.
Thank you. Motion by Courtney and a second by Ron Driscoll. Any other comments on the minutes? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Robbins, aye. We accepted the minutes of July 23rd. Next up is a request for a continuance to amend an existing order of conditions. Benjamin Carroll, 357 West Falmouth Highway, Falmouth, Mass. Requests to amend the order of conditions for Mass DEP number 254777 to reduce the footprint of the proposed work and reduce the amount of required mitigation plantings. Alyssa.
The applicant has requested a continuance until August 13th.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll, second.
The site is now staked, so everyone can visit it if they haven't.
Thank you, Alyssa. We have a motion second to continue to the 13th. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. Okay. Request for a continuance under an enforcement order. Joseph G. Marasola, trustee, Joseph G. Marasola, Revocable Trust, 2018, 15 Moses Road, Falmouth, unpermitted enclosure of a rinse station in a velocity zone. Alyssa.
Yes, the homeowner has requested a continuance until August 13th.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue until August 13th. Comments or questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Court,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. All right, so that is continued to August 13th. Request for determination of applicability. And first is Gary Jacobson, 406 Quissit Ave and 18 Quissit Harbor Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to vista prune according to FWR 10.18 10B. And Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll, second.
We have a motion and a second to accept staff's recommendation. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. I'll call the roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Robbins, aye. So moved. Okay, next up, John Lee Bruno, 85 Green Pond Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to enlarge the existing float and conduct invasive species management. Fallon.
So staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw for the float enlargement and a +3 under the state and bylaw for the invasive species management. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and I can elaborate if you would like.
Please.
Yes.
So originally they proposed some invasive species management, and under RDAs, we do sometimes allow invasive species management for a very small area. Once we got the application and looked into it a little bit more, the area of invasive species that they wanted to tackle was around 250 square feet, I believe. So that was a little too much for an RDA. We would recommend a notice of intent for the invasive species removal part of this project.
Okay, Tom, thank you.
So I will move that we, I think we should split this in half because there's a negative and a positive. I'll move that we issue a negative determination on the float.
Driscoll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the negative on the float only. Yeah, that makes sense, Courtney, just to break that up. Any other comments or questions?
No,
Float part.
float.
Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll.
you good, Ron? Dave?
And I.
And Robbins is aye. Okay.
So my second motion, and this is in keeping with the idea, even if we're going to reject it, I will make a motion to approve the RDA, and then you will issue vote a no, which goes ahead with the staff's recommendation. So I'll make a motion to accept or approve the idea of a negative determination for the Phragmite or invasive control.
Positive, right?
Yeah, in other words,
In other words, I'm saying we should go ahead and approve it. That's my motion. And then we vote no, which is staff's recommendation. Does that make any sense?
That's better.
yeah,
In
Driscoll.
other words, it's whenever we're gonna vote against something, we always start with a positive motion to approve.
where you could do
That's what I'm following.
you could do the positive motion being staff's recommendation.
Yeah, I
Right.
think usually for RDAs, you guys just
I'm issuing
to
a
agree,
motion.
but
My motion is to approve the issuance of an RDA for the Phragmites control or invasive control. Okay, that's my motion.
Okay. Okay.
The staff's recommendation is we vote no on that.
All right.
just go ahead and vote.
It does make sense. I think we're getting confused by the positives and the negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ron, did you second that, Ron Driscoll?
Yes, I did.
Thank
I
you.
seconded.
We have a motion and a second by Ron
To approve the
allow
Phragmites,
the Phragmites
or whatever it is, invasives.
invasives, whatever it is. Okay.
Staff's recommendation is that we cast a negative vote for that. Vote no, because they're recommending a notice.
A notice, yes. Okay. So I'm going to
Steve,
call.
do you have a question?
Look,
I thought it was simpler if we just support the staff's recommendation. But however you want to do it, Mr. Chairman,
yeah.
this is not confusing me, but that's the way we usually do it.
So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is everybody comfortable with the way Courtney put it? If we are, then we'll just go ahead. Motion's there already.
Right.
So, all right. Okay, so I'm going to call a roll. So a positive vote means they can go. A yes vote means they can go ahead and do the remove whatever invasives are there. And a no vote means that we're backing the staff on it while we're accepting the staff's recommendation.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Courtney,
Bird, no.
Ron,
Driscoll, no.
Steve,
No. Pat, no.
Dave,
Kent, no.
And Robbins is a no. So it's unanimous against allowing the invasive species removal. So we're accepting this. We accepted the staff's recommendation. All right. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move on to Scott Masilli, 140 Mill Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Fallon, is that you? Is that you?
Yep.
Fallon?
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Comments, questions from board members? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Court,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Robbins, aye. So moved. Next up is John and Jean Devine, 150 Mill Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Fallon,
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
any other comments or questions from commissioners? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Robbins, aye. Unanimous. So moved. Next up is J. David and H. Helen Preston, 50 Weatherglass Lane, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to remove a 6-foot by 12-foot float and to refigure 2 metal piles and a 6 by 20 float. Fallon,
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, I'm going to call roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is aye. Unanimous. Staff's recommendation. Next up is Judy Southey, 18 Main Entry Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to remove approximately 10 trees and maintain several other trees via vista pruning. No, via pruning, I'm sorry, not vista, via pruning. Balance.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed. This project only takes place in an AE flood zone.
Bird, so move.
Pat
Driscoll
second.
second.
Okay, we got a motion by Courtney and a second by Steve. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'm going to call for the, I'll call the roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. Carol Ann McCarthy, 1 Worcester Court, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to raise RAZE and rebuild an existing single-family dwelling and install dry wells. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -2 under the state and bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed, and this project solely takes place in an AE flood zone.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Courtney and a second by Ron. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'm going to call the roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron, Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. So we accepted the staff's recommendation on 1 Worcester Court. Fenton and Melody Brown, 159 Up Along Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a pickleball court. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Here's a motion and a second. Staff to accept staff's recommendation. Any other comments, questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'll call a roll. Court,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. All right, next up is Jacqueline M. Cowan, trustee. Jacqueline M. Cowan, trustee, 153 Great Bay Street, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to reinstall mitigation plantings per MA DEP number 253503. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. Unanimous on 153 Great Bay Street. All right. Next up is continued request for determination of applicability. Goldman Bridgewater Realty Group, 41 Nauset Ave East, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a new Title V sewage disposal system. Fallon?
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions by the commission? Hearing none, I'll call a roll. Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
and Robbins is an aye. All right, next up is request for hearing under notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All right. First up is Sean Watts, 11 Madeline Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to upgrade the existing sewage disposal system, remove a section of driveway, install drainage, and install restoration plantings in an area of unpermitted clearing. Alyssa.
Yes, I promoted Bill Colley from Colley Site Services to present his project. I will be sharing my screen for him. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Alyssa. My name is Bill Colley of Colley Site Services. Our company was retained by Mr. Sean Watts, owner of Madeline Road. The filing of this notice of intent is to rectify unpermitted work that was performed in a wetland resource area and associated buffer zones. The unpermitted work consisted of clearing of naturally growing vegetation, constructing stone retaining walls, an AC pad, and a gravel walkway. Other proposed work will consist of a new Title V approved septic system, repair of existing asphalt driveway, add catch basins, and a vegetated swale to capture the storm and roof water runoff. We have proposed approximately 1,900 square feet of area to restore with native saplings, shrubs, and seed mixes. I would like to also address the staff recommendations I received this morning. I had spoken to the owner, Sean Watts, about, and he is essentially good with all the recommendations. He'll follow them. We are going to be adding a second dry well in. We'll say that. There's a question of the trees to be removed from near the leach field. Initially, we specified 4 trees, but a 5th one really should come down. Mr. Bowman was there this morning and saw it. The proximity to the field is too close that we feel it'll endanger the tree because of the amount of roots that would have to be cut off there. So we were requesting to have that tree removed. As far as all the other recommendations, Sean Watts is willing to go along with it. The only other question he had was as far as the trees proposed for removal along the driveway in the clump of oaks in the south east corner by the house. He'd like to remove because he feels that's a hazard. And the other reason he wants to remove those trees along the driveway and that clump is he's looking to go green. He wants to leave the option of being able to put solar panels on the roof there. It's southern exposure on that side. So we're ready to follow any recommendations by the board that you may have. If I can turn around the plan in probably a 3-4 day time period, if that be good, if we don't have to do another meeting, or if we have to do another meeting, fine. I'm leaving it up to you now. Any questions?
All right, thanks, Bill. Thank you for addressing all of the staff comments too. If the commission is agreeable on how we typically do things, you don't necessarily need to get this to us within a certain number of days. If they're comfortable with us closing the hearing tonight and just requiring the changes as conditions, you're welcome to get that plan to us when you can. The only thing I wanted to add, just for the record, we did receive public comment, and that was sent to the commission and added to the record. For those who are listening, that was in regards to the potential of a path on the property, which is one of the corrections that Bill will be making. At this time, no path will be proposed. It'll just remain vegetated.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I don't have anything else at this time.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. Let's start off with Ron Driscoll.
Yeah, that three-legged oak at the corner of the house, is that staying or going?
We would, the owner would like to.
You asked if it's removed. Did we agree to remove it or you asked to stay? Pardon me?
Asking to remove it.
Right, Alyssa, did we agree? Is that one of your trees that you want to see stay? It's a three-legged oak right at the corner of the house. It looks like it's I'd consider it dangerous for the house, but one of those things is gonna split off sometime.
Yeah, sorry for initially you were a bit delayed there. Bill, I wasn't sure which one you were talking about in the moment. Which tree to stay? Was that
he just referred to?
The of them? Okay, got it.
The front right corner of the house.
Okay, got it.
Are you
Yeah,
good?
it makes sense to me to take that out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave.
I have one question about trees and the solar plans for solar. I think the owner is going to sell this property without solar. Is that correct?
I can't speak for him. It's doesn't have solar panels on it.
When we visited last Friday, he said he didn't plan on putting solar on before he sold it. So my only question is, if we're not sure if the new owner is going to go with solar, is it necessary to take down the trees along the driveway now? He wanted to take those down for the potential for future solar, but with my understanding that he's not going to do that. So I kind of wondered about doing it now rather than allowing it up to the decision of the new owner.
That is something that can be dealt with down the line. It was because I asked him about that, how he felt about it. He'd like to see the trees go. and do the green thing and have the
But the green-
option of doing solar panels, but it's up to you.
Well, leaving those trees there doesn't preempt them coming down later for future, solar plans.
Exactly.
I just wondering about we take them down now and then the new owner doesn't do it, I don't know. That's all I'm thinking. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Courtney,
No questions.
I'm sorry, Steve.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, what's your pleasure? You want to close this hearing, take it under advisement? You want more information?
Can we get some clarification for the next meeting on my question?
How about, would you be good with letting staff handle that, Dave?
Take a minute, take a deep breath.
All right, I'm in.
Yes, of course.
Okay. All right, so, Courtney,
I'll make a motion to close the hearing. Driscoll.
Patton, second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to close the hearing, take it under
I just have
advisement.
a question.
Any other comments from the commission? Hang on, Courtney. You got a question?
Yes,
Okay,
staff is comfortable with a revised plan. Okay. That's my question.
okay, so we have a motion and a second, take the hearing, to close the hearing, take it under advisement. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Dave,
And I.
and Robbins is an aye. Okay, we close that hearing and we're taking under advisement.
Okay, thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Bill.
Alyssa. Thank you. Alyssa, I'll get a hold of you. I'll call you Friday. I'll try to set up a meeting with you early
Sure.
next week to go over whatever order of conditions changes.
Yep, absolutely. Sounds good. Have a good night,
Okay.
Bill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, next up is William Drinan Jr. and Lisa C. Kane, trustees, 17 Family Trust, 103 Charles River Road, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to enlarge one existing deck and remove another. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. I am promoting Mike Borselli to present his project. And Ronnie is back in.
Ronnie back in. Evening, Mike. Oh, there he is.
We're all a little technically
There we are.
inept tonight. Sorry.
Yes.
Must be something. Is it a full moon? I don't know.
Good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering, and I represent the applicant. I'm going to share my screen and go through my project. The property in question is number 103 Childs River Road. Some of you may be familiar with it. We've been before you and received an order of conditions to do some repairs to the existing dock. The property has water frontage on the Childs River. So the wetland resources include land under the ocean, land containing shellfish. Along the boundary at the bottom of a coastal bank is a strip of salt marsh. The land slopes up and it's a coastal bank. It's non-eroding. We've shown the 50-foot no disturbance zone A from the top of the coastal bank and the 50-foot outer buffer zone B to the coastal bank. In addition, there is a 100-foot no disturbance zone from the salt marsh. So all of this work is considered redevelopment, and it's been designed to meet your standards at FWR 10.18. We've met with your staff on at least one occasion to go over this. And I believe that it meets your standards in accordance with that section of the regulations. The project is basically asking permission to modify the deck. Trying to zoom in on that view. The shaded area is a modification by expanding and squaring off the deck so that this is a more usable area. There's a set of stairs that led down to a lower level that we're changing to go down to the lower level in a different position. So they're already on the footprint of an existing deck. There is one section of deck here that I've identified as to be removed. On the north side of the property, we're identifying a section of deck and a stone landing to be removed. The net result of all of this is that there's no increase in impervious surfaces. The modification of the deck doesn't go closer to the closest wetland resource than the closest point of the existing primary structure. So for those reasons, we believe it meets the standards in your regulations. There was some staff comments, and I think they're pretty much bookkeeping, and where the staff pointed out that there's an existing stone wall that has been here for a long time that creeps over the property line into what's called cross path. My experience is that the abutting properties have a fee or ownership to the central line, and others have within the subdivision have rights to pass and repass over cross path. It was laid out as an access to the pond. There is some pier there, unknown. I don't think it's used. There isn't a lot of access over this because it's wooded. But this stone wall doesn't interfere with people's rights to pass and repass. I'm going to make the owner. I've already made the owner aware of that encroachment, but I don't think there's really. It's been there for a long time. I don't think there's any intention to do anything with that wall. There was a comment about an existing dogwood at the corner of the house that was previously required, and we were asked to add it to the plan. We certainly can do that. On the north side, there's a tiny encroachment of the shed. There was a suggestion that be shifted. I'll speak to my client about that minor encroachment. It'll either be shifted or the owner of the abutting property could also allow it to remain if we could provide you with a letter to that effect. There was a request to add an AC unit to the plan. Happy to do that. And there was a comment about a float, an unpermitted float being connected to the permitted float on the back side here, and there was an aerial photo that shows that. I can't speak to why that's there, but certainly that should be a condition to be removed because it wasn't approved and it couldn't be approved. The float that was permitted is the maximum size allowed. So we would certainly expect that to be a condition of any approval for our work. And I think that sums it up. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Mike. Alyssa, you can unshare, that'd be great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike, for addressing all the staff comments. I have nothing else at this time. Thanks.
All right, Dave.
I have no questions. Is my hand still raised?
No, we started with you this time. That's all.
Okay.
Funny.
It surprised me.
I don't have any questions.
Steve?
No questions, thank you.
Ron?
No questions. Thank you.
Ronnie?
Yeah, I got a question. shed, is that outside of our jurisdiction,
I think it is.
Mike?
It's still in jurisdiction because it's within 100 feet of the top of the coastal bank.
Okay. I'm just wondering if ZBA would have a decision on that. I was just trying to get clarity. No other questions.
Thank you, Ron. Ronnie. All right. Any other comments, questions? What's your pleasure? Do you like to close the?
Close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Driscoll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Courtney and a second by Ron to close the hearing, take it under advisements. Any other comments or questions? Anything in the chat, Alyssa, before we move on?
Nothing in the chat and no hands raised.
All right, great. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to call the roll. Courtney,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ron,
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie,
Holman, aye.
Dave,
Anti.
and Robbins is an aye. So that is unanimous to take to close the hearing, take it under advisement.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is William C. Fleming, trustee, 140 Oyster Pond Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to raise, RAZE, an existing single-family dwelling, construct a new single-family dwelling with a garage, deck, and patio, replace the existing septic tank, and install mitigation plantings. Alyssa.
Yes, I am in process of promoting Tom Bunker up to present his project.
Good evening,
Hi,
Tom.
Tom.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah. I don't know, so you read the announcement, so I'll just jump in. For the record, my name is Tom Bunker, registered land surveyor, BSS Design. Prepared this plan for the for Bill and Norma Fleming on 140 Oyster Pond Road. And if I can, I'll share my screen and jump right into it, if I may.
All right, go right ahead, Tom.
Not what I want. There. I'll just first show you this is the FEMA map of the area. It's a little hard to see, but this white line through here is the bike path. Oyster Pond is up in this location, and of course Surf Drive cuts through here to the intersection with Oyster Pond Road, which in this location right through here. So the house is located right at this pin, the orange pin, right on the confluence of flood zone shaded X, flood zone AE elevation 12 back here, flood zone AE elevation 13 here, which is also the coastal A zone. It has the limit or a moderate wave action. And then on this seaward side of this white line, it's a flood zone VE elevation 15. There's a little blow up. This tour is blurry from the town website, but this line right through here is the LMWA, limit of moderate wave action. And this is the zone AE elevation 13, the coastal zone A. And then behind that is the just the regular non-coastal zone A elevation 12. And of course, this is the elevation 13. So our plan of existing conditions reflects that, where we have see up at the I mentioned it in the narrative, but I don't label it on the plan. The mile marker 3 on the Falmouth Road Race is in here somewhere. But this is the 12 contour. up here. So we have the flood zone AE elevation 12. This flood zone was brought in digitally from a digital file from FEMA by the coordinates running through here, because a LIMWA, just the same as a velocity zone, a LIMWA flood zone does not run along any given contour. So that's right through here. And there is a little bit of elevation 12 sneaking in behind it here. And of course, the velocity zone is down here. There is a wetland, a bordering vegetated wetland, delineated by LEC, environmental consultants, down in this area. It's all in flood zone. This area slopes greater than 10%. It's a coastal bank. So basically around where the lawn is now, where the lawn has been for a long time, is the top of the coastal bank. Right through here, where the ground flattens off to a less than 10-to-1 slope. And so it is up to elevation 12, the flood zone, through up through here, and then it's again outside of the flood zone up in this area. As you can see, this LIMWA does cross through the house and the deck somewhat. There's a septic system upgraded with a variance for the property line up in here some years ago, and because the house was low, needed a pump chamber. So there's a septic tank and a pump chamber to lift it up to the leaching bed up there. Existing driveway has been there for forever, since the house was built around 1961. A lot has been added. The shed has been there since we've been working on this site for 15 or 20 years. But this large patio is new, as is there has been some changes in and out of the edge of lawn here and there. It's pointed out there were 2 trees missing. I can show you a couple pictures of them. They were dead before they were taken out. I can just quickly go to that, I think. Yeah. So anyway, there are some, it'll come up soon. There was a pine tree. See, it has borers in it, and then borers and no needles on the pine tree is one of them. And then there's this other tree, which Bill Fleming identified as a mimosa, which is not native, but that's so you see a lot of dead bark down here. It's totally dead and no leaves on it. And this is in September when there normally would be leaves. I'll get back to I can find my way back to the okay. So this is the existing conditions plan. Here, the house is below the required elevation for the flood zone. It's non-conforming in many respects. It's obviously non-conforming to the top of coastal bank. And here, the house is only 21 feet from the top of the bank. See, it's sorry, 25 feet from the top of the bank here. It's 22 feet to the property line. This is odd situation where the land was taken to straighten out Oyster Pond Road, but never built. So it's quite close to the property line, to the wetland, to the coastal bank here, and also at this corner, non-conforming. And then I can go to the next page, which is the proposed plan. So it's moved back. The previous house was in the this limois. As you can see, the light orange lines through here are the existing house. So you can see it moved to the left, and there's also a line down here moved away a little bit so that the house is no longer in this limois. There are special building code requirements for this. Is the same building code requirements, building type requirements as in a velocity zone. So the house itself is not in this coastal A flood zone. This is a detached deck. It'll be structurally separate from the house, because if it was attached deck to that, then that would sort of drag the entire house into the flood zone and requiring those construction standards. The patio was further down here, and now it's a smaller patio further away in this location, and it's further from here. So the house has retreated in two directions, basically toward the driveway. So now there's a garage in here. So they used up part of the driveway, and they can now park under the house in this location, partly under the deck and partly under the house here. And the driveway will be cut back, so there's a reduction in zone A here, a reduction in coverage in zone A from some of the patio in the house. But there is there's a 90 square foot increase in zone A, requiring 270 square feet of mitigation. And in zone B, there is a reduction in coverage in zone B. So 270 square feet we have shown of mitigation in this location here. There are a couple perennial planting beds. There's one tree here. It's a non-native tree that will be moved to a different location. And this will become all mitigation through here. There are several trees from sheet one. There is a tree a cedar tree right here that's being removed. There's a pair of them at the beginning of this walkway through here. So one of them will be removed. That would be too close to work around. And around the existing house, there were a couple trees in this location, though we have shown trees to replace them. I did not show any trees to replace the ones that were dead and had been removed. I guess it was like 9 years ago, or kind of been forgotten about. Was it 9 years? I'd have to look back at that to see exactly when those trees were removed. But they are not shown on this plan, but they have been removed. The patio that's here is being removed, and there's also a rinse station down here attached to the shed that's being removed. There will be, when it's decided, an amended order, probably attach a new rinse station to the house in here somewhere. Because there were some of these changes in some of the lawn location between 2020 and 2025, or roughly. Their staff has noted that there will be some revegetation required, and so we will have to work with staff on that somewhat and do something about if they need a replacement for those trees, the dead trees that were removed. I think that picture in the staff report shows the pine tree and the other tree, the live pine tree from a previous filing that we had done, we hadn't caught that it had been removed. Anyway, that's the proposal. How they propose to rebuild the house. I will stop the share and take any questions.
All right, Tom, thank you. Alyssa.
Thank you. Thanks, Tom. In terms of addressing the staff comments, I think it'll just be up to the board on whether they'd like to see those 2 trees replaced in some capacity on the property. I know in reading your narrative that the tree placement you'd like to keep flexible in terms of waiting for the house to be developed. So we can just add additional tree count if we need to. In terms of the fire pit and patio and rinse station being removed, if you could overlay that plan from the last time we saw the property in 17, it just showed the lawn limit around the septic tank over there, and I think that'll help us kind of figure out where the changes might have been for restoration, just because it still is a zone A and that vegetation should have remained. A similar point to the paths that have been created on the bank and in the buffer. I definitely understand the reasoning, but I think keeping the paths in the resource area and in the buffer just need to be revegetated, or at least allowed to revegetate naturally. If they would like to undertake some invasive species work, maybe under a future AOC, that's definitely a possibility. But I think just restoring that for the moment, just so everything is vegetated, would be ideal, and to not continue cutting and pruning the vegetation that isn't ornamental, I would say. I think that's all I have at the moment. So be up to the commissioners if they agreed and if they would like to see any plan revisions prior to closing. Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. Courtney.
No questions.
Steve?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Ron?
Yeah, the elevation, is it 4 feet up, just for my own simple thing, is it 4 feet above ground? I know the
On the
12 and 13, but is there a space below the house? Is it up about 3 or 4 feet or something? Or is it right at the ground level?
It's on the solid fill foundation, I believe. I mean, it's not on posts or piers.
It's not on fill. Okay. All right. So the ground floor is at the ground floor. The elevation is the elevation of the ground.
The ground floor is, I think it is a foot or so above the ground. But
So
it's not.
That's what I'm saying. There's space.
No, there's no space under it. So I mean, it's at ground level. The driveway has to be filled or slope up a little bit to get into the garage. It's on a frost wall with solid fill inside. So there's no cellar or crawl space.
You good, Ron?
Yeah, I'm all set. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Ronnie?
No comment.
Dave?
No questions. Thanks for the very thorough presentation.
Yeah, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. What's your pleasure? Alyssa, is any, I'm sorry, anything in the chat function?
No chats, no hands raised.
Okay, great. All right, what's your pleasure?
Question. Staff is comfortable with all the documentation they have?
I'm comfortable for the moment until you guys vote on what you'd like to see.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to just take it at voting, that's fine.
Yeah. In other words, if we close the hearing, you're fine.
I'll work with staff for the showing additional. You want some of the native vegetation put back. I can
I mean, what I'm getting at is we can continue this so everybody's on the same page and then close it after that. Or if you feel you can work all of this out, then then we can close it tonight. So that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I think the potential restoration areas are pretty clear cut, so we could work with Tom if
But there was a question about trees.
depending on what you guys would like to see.
There was a question.
Yes, I mean, I see now with the photos that the trees were dead. We still typically require permits for that. There is, you know, a decent amount of vegetation on the property, so I think it'd just be up to the commission on if you'd like to see any more trees added. But
Okay.
I'll make a
I'm good
motion.
either way, Court.
We already have a motion.
I'll make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Just a second.
Steve, did you say there was a motion already made?
Oh, I thought we had made a motion to close the hearing. I'm sorry.
No, Courtney questioned that. He just wanted to make sure staff.
I see. Okay.
So we have a motion by Courtney and a second by Ron.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions from the commission to close the hearing, take it under advisement? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call the roll. Courtney.
Bird, aye.
Steve.
Patton, aye.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie.
Coleman, aye.
Dave.
And aye.
And Russ. Robbins is an aye, so it's unanimous. The hearing is closed and we'll take it under advisement. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Next up is a continued request for a hearing under notice of intent. Nathan Holcomb, 270 Sipwissa Road, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to demolish an existing deck, remove an area of gravel, and construct a screen porch, deck, and garage. Alyssa.
Yes, I am promoting Mike Borsellia, Falmouth Engineering, and Angela Tanner of Crawford Land Management to present their continued project.
All right. Good evening again, Mike, and good evening, Angela.
Good evening again. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, for the record, Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering, representing the applicant Nathan Holcomb, along with Angela Tanner. This is a continued hearing. We were asked to do a few things, one of which was to redelineate the wetland because it had been delineated some time ago and the standards for delineation had changed. So LEC Environmental did reflag the wetland and we resurveyed it and we submitted the data sheets associated with the flagging that LEC had prepared. So the new plan has a revised wetland delineation on it. We also made our plan reconcile with Crawford Land Management's plan as far as where the mitigation planting would be located. And I'm going to briefly share this, share the plan with you. The shaded green area is a modification of the shape of the mitigation planting. The wetland delineation is shown. It didn't change measurably, but it was updated and the data sheets were provided. There were revised staff comments, most of which were are probably best handled by Angela, but there were a couple. In particular, there was one that suggested that there be a limit of work established on the north side of the boulder. If you've been on the site, you saw this large boulder.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of there's an edge of vegetation which is predominantly the branches and the drip line from the branches from these evergreens that are shown on the plan. And I've shown it here and it's in close proximity to the proposed garage, which is, this was designed specifically to avoid the boulder. But some of this might need to be pruned back a little bit. So staff had suggested a limit of work here. That's certainly something we can do, and I'm hoping it could be a condition. And if there's any removal of vegetation here, it could certainly be, it's in a B zone. It can be reestablished in lawn areas that are down here adjacent to this other mitigation planting. Other than that, I think the other remaining issues, which are not many, can be handled by Angela, and I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm available for questions.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Hi, I'm Angela Tanner with Crawford Land Management, and I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Please do.
So I'm going to zoom in a little bit if it works. There we go. So this is updated a little bit. We were able to go back and see some of the vegetation that wasn't present. I think it was wintertime when I originally looked at it. There were some ferns in the within the wetland area where we had previously shown some mitigation planting on this side of the wall. So we reconfigured it so that the mitigation planting wouldn't go in that dense area of native ferns. We also updated it to show the existing trees that are in this area, and that is mostly to show that we're not planning on removing any of that. We're planning on planting around within the bare places. So this plan is basically the same species that were in there before. We added some inkberry along this side of the wetland and reconfigured the boundary here, which is going to be demarcated by ornamental boulders so that you can see where the edge of the mitigation and lawn area is. We really feel strongly that this is a pretty degraded area. There's virtually no understory. It's just vines and some invasive plants, and we would not be planning to remove any native vegetation. We would work around it. So I'm the only other thing on our plan that changed was just that we matched the updated wetland delineation and boundaries so that it matches the engineer's plan. And we also took out, there was a little gravel area over here that was hanging on from an earlier part of the project that we got rid of. And I can just answer any questions from here.
Okay, thanks, Angela. Alyssa?
Thank you. Just a quick note for the commission in regards to quorum. It is Ronnie, Ron, Russ, and Steve. Thank you, Mike and Angela. The staff's comments remain the same in regards to the gravel in the Zone B and the proposed location of the mitigation. And based on the additional narrative for this revised plan, should the commission want to include that 2019 previous filing and add that into the record, I would just recommend continuing this hearing so I can send you all of the applicable materials. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, we would like that incorporated in the record. I think it's important because it shows the history of the previous application and all the documents that were associated. And if you feel the need for a continuance, we're hoping you could close and feel comfortable closing tonight. But if you do feel the need, we can entertain a continuance.
Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, questions, Ron Driscoll.
Yeah, I'm all set. Thank you.
Ronnie.
No questions.
I thought Steve had his hand up. No comments. I think we should move forward, put this to bed.
Okay, Steve.
I didn't be meant to take out of order. I'm just waving a pen while I'm sitting there. But thank you. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate it. I didn't have any questions. I would ask Alyssa why she feels the need for a continuance? If you
This is
could.
yeah, absolutely. When I was reviewing the project a couple days ago, I was reading that when Mike was putting together a paragraph about what all of his changes were, there was a request to add the 2019 project and its filings and incorporate it into the record. I hadn't seen that request before, so in speaking to Jen, she said that that decision comes from the commission. I had only read that I think Monday or Friday, so it probably would have been too late for me to send them over to you anyway, and you guys have adequate time to read them. Basically, I understand that Mike and Angela are presenting the project in a way where they find it reflects the 2019 project. Back then, that mitigation was proposed in the same area, but there were additional features to the project that staff finds make it very different. So though that mitigation placement was approved back then, staff's position is that it shouldn't be approved now. So perhaps having that information could provide the board with some context as to what we're talking about back and forth, if it couldn't be, interpreted from the staff reports or from the aerial photos. So my suggestion is, if you would like to accept that request and add it into the record to allow us time to get you those materials so you can review them and make an informed decision. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Of course.
All right. What's your pleasure, guys? There's 4 of us, so what would you like to do?
Mr. Chairman, I'm comfortable making a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement with the inclusion of the 2019 documented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion by Steve and a second by Ronnie. Any other comments or questions? Anything in the chat? Oh, I'm sorry, Alyssa, go ahead.
Well, yes, nothing in the chat, no hands raised. Just a question, I'm not sure on the protocol here. If you do close, I don't think I'm allowed to send you any new information.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you'd have to either be accepting of what you have now or allow for more time to send you that information, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right. You're right. So we wouldn't be getting any more information on this, so.
Well, then before you vote, Mr. Chairman, if you feel more comfortable, we want to act in the spirit of cooperation. If it makes it easier and gives you less pressure to understand the project, we would ask for a continuance if it's going to be helpful in your deliberation. But I think the only reason for the continuance is to get that information to you from your staff. And then on the 27th, I think you'd simply, we'd be available, of course, for more any other questions, but I don't know, we wouldn't have anything else to submit to you. So if that's a better way to handle it, you're not meeting on the 20th.
No.
So we'd have to request to the 27th.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, Court, you're on this too. I read it wrong.
Oh,
I'm off my game tonight just as much as everyone else.
Courtney, you are on this, so you're the first.
Okay,
Sorry,
I haven't any comments, but do you want me to make a motion? We'll continue.
Steve's made a motion. Do you want to withdraw that, Steve, or
Yes.
You want to withdraw?
Could I withdraw my motion, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Courtney, you want to make a motion?
Yeah, so the motion is to close the hearing, is that correct?
No. Continue.
Continue until when?
The 27th.
27th. See, I
I'll
wasn't
make a
paying
motion to continue
attention
hearing to
because
August
you told me
27th.
I was a non
All right,
person.
motion's already made. Someone seconded.
Ron just made the motion to continue to the 27th.
Second.
And Steve
Patton.
seconded. Okay, cool. Any other comments or questions? All right, hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney.
Aye. Bird eye.
Patton.
Steve, yep. Ron Driscoll.
Driscoll, aye.
Bowman.
Bowman, aye.
And Robbins is an aye. So we'll continue to the 27th. All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. We'll see you then.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right, what do we got going here? Sorry about that. All right, request to amend an existing order of conditions. Fenton and Melody Brown, 159 up along Road, Falmouth, Mass. Request to amend the order of conditions of Mass DEP 254672 to change the size and shape of the proposed addition. And it looks like Fallon, you're going to handle this one?
Yep. So Tom Bunker is here to present his project.
Yep, for the record, I'm
Take it
here.
away, Tom.
Tom Bunker, BSS Design, as before, representing Fenton and Melody Brown on Up Along Road. Had a long history of them. Actually, just earlier in this hearing, had a RDA, so they can make a pickleball court on this property. I'll share the screen now and show you what this one is all about. Okay. How do you get that bar out of there? There. I guess you just ask it to. Okay, this is the southern end of their property on a nice little peninsula sticking into Bourne's Pond. I can show you on, this is the full lot here. And then over in the locust map, they're on this peninsula. Most of you should have been there, so you see how nice it is down long dirt roads to get out to here. And the pickleball court was going right in this location. There was a garage here that had been on this concrete foundation. The garage got moved out to here. It's just in the flood zone. Then there's a swimming pool and a cabana built, all in flood zone. And then this little house that has had a long history. There was actually way back in the day, there was a much smaller little cottage, much closer to the ocean, the water down in here, and this got built. When did it get built? I don't know. Earlier, 2011. Perhaps this was. Then in 2021, one proposal was that's the same order of conditions. You can see on this, it's maybe not dark enough. You see this orange brown line here. This was a large addition that kind of went around and then connected with this piece of foundation here. That order was never acted on, never built. There's a comment in staff report, all the findings and decisions from that 2021 hearing, including that the kayak rack should be moved. There's some kayak rack here. Of course, that was in that decision from 2021 to move it landward, and some other things. They also note that there's a boat on an outhaul out in here. But because the entire order was never acted on, then some of this work that was required at that time, was not done. It will be done. This is the addition they want to build, and of course they will take all steps to do it right, including moving the kayak rack up to some location. I think I'd have to talk with staff about where that location will be. If you saw the narrative, this is a reduction from the previous proposal for the addition. But it's a smaller house, but of course the bigger house came up here, took more space, but almost all of that was in the Zone B. And this addition is smaller and more compact, but it kind of backed into an area of the Zone A, which is the Salt Marsh Zone A line is right through here. So there's really just a corner that's in the Zone A. And then there is some area to keep the 10-foot work limit around it. There will be some permanent disturbance to this area here, the natural vegetation in this area here. And that area of disturbance is being replaced here closer to the salt marsh. And what makes this as part of a reduction in coverage in Zone A is that there's a large parking slab right here. It's not a slab, it's pavers that will all be removed. And these walks were shown on these stone walks were shown on the not the 2021, but the prior plan when some of this addition was built, or when the house was built, and that will be removed. So basically all circulation and use of this back area here, which is closest to the salt marsh to the west, will be removed. The staff asked about a rinse station that's right in here, and that will be removed. I'm not sure we will, if there will be one placed back on here, we'll have to come back to you to amend the order to show it somewhere. And that I don't have that detail, but Fenton said that will be removed. And so this planting is restoration planting. There are these 4 or 5 small trees being taken out right here and put back in this location along with the shrubs. It's like 240 square feet with 14 to 18 native shrubs and 5 trees. We feel that is an improvement. Reduction in Zone A is an improvement. I think I like to think it's fairly straightforward. All of the staff's comments about the boardwalk at the end of the shell path, which is this little bit right here, will be removed. The kayak rack will be moved to a landward position. I'd like to work with staff on exactly where that can be. There was a comment about, I think, the easterly path. We'll have to go over some things with staff, partly because this kayak rack will be considered coverage. And so if this little wood deck were to stay, and that we'll have to check on that there. If it's still a reduction in coverage or an increase, and then there may be, but we will do what it takes to make not an increase in coverage out of this, so that we will not have to do more mitigation planting. So that's what we're proposing. I'll take this down and take questions.
Okay, Tom, thank you. Fallon?
Thank you. And thank you, Tom, for kind of going over all of staff's comments. And yes, we would definitely like to see that kayak rack in the salt marsh removed. And we had also talked about internally, once it is removed, kind of going out to the site and seeing the area where it was, just because it has been there so long, to determine if any salt marsh restoration would be required. And then there is the second kayak rack kind of behind the lab. So in that new impervious surface calculation, we would need both the kayak racks and the little deck off the path for coverage. But I think you kind of went over everything. Happy to speak with you and figure out locations of things.
Yeah, he's totally amenable to taking all of the conditions and making that work out. how you would like to see it done.
Thank you.
Alyssa, did you have anything?
Nothing to add. Thank you.
All right, Courtney.
Busy site. I have no questions.
Steve?
Yeah, ever evolving, but I have no questions about this evolution.
Ron?
Ron or Ronnie?
I'm sorry, Ron Driscoll?
Okay, Tom, you get the greatest projects. That's quite a piece of property you've been fooling around with for all these years, and you do a great job on it. So, but I have no questions. Good luck with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Ronnie?
Tom, what was the walkway going down to the dock area, the marsh area? I see he's got maybe shells with some railroad ties. I'm just thinking what could go there instead, because there's quite a bit of a drop in elevation there. It looked like it would wash out. So I just don't know what could be done there.
Yeah, well, it had been
afterward.
washing out. I think when there was a little cottage there, I mean, that's been, used. I think that cottage is probably from the 50s or something, is back there. And so it's been used for a long time. And yeah, there's a drop there. I don't know what, without putting a structure that would need more mitigation or something. I don't know what else to do. I think right now they're happy with the shells that kind of hold the soil somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I don't know what better, if there is something better to put for now.
Yeah, just curious. Okay, no other questions.
Thanks, Ronnie. Dave? You're muted, Dave. You're muted.
Sorry. I just have one question. I wondered how the previous mitigation plants are doing.
I think in general, we probably have some pictures of them, but I think they're generally doing pretty well. We locate them, they fill out. I mean, I think they're doing well. Better. I haven't heard. I know a lot of sites, they just die. I think this is, as for a waterfront site, this is probably fairly sheltered because it's not open to a lot of wind. So it's not directly on the ocean. So they don't get wind burned like a lot of the other plants do. So I think they're doing fairly well.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, listen, anybody in the chat have anything?
Nobody in the chat and no hands raised.
Okay, great. All right, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Driscoll second.
We have a motion to close the hearing, take it under advisement, which has been seconded. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners?
No.
Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna call a roll. Courtney?
Bird eye.
Steve?
Patton, aye.
Ron?
Driscoll aye.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Dave?
Anti.
And Robbins is an aye. Unanimous. Hearing is closed.
Thank you.
In a minute, Tom.
I had a question, Alyssa. They have that one for Jane Fur.
Mhm.
Was that continued, or you have to be here? Should I stay around for that?
I would, just for a minite.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we're almost there, Tom, on that one. So continued request to amend an existing order of conditions. Benjamin Carroll, 357 West Falmouth Highway, Falmouth, Mass. Request to amend the order of conditions, MA DEP 25-4777, to reduce the footprint of the proposed work and reduce the amount of required mitigation plantings. Alyssa?
Yes, I believe we continued this to August 13th.
You are correct. Thank you, Melissa. So moving on, continued hearings under a enforcement order. To 58 Westwood Road, LLC. care of Robert Martin, 58 Westwood Road, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of a shed and removal of vegetation within the buffer to a coastal bank and coastal dune. Alyssa.
Yes, I have promoted Brian Wall, who is representing the homeowner, to make a follow-up statement on the project. Hi, Brian.
Good evening, members of the board. Through the chairman, this is Brian Wall speaking for the property owners, Mr. and Mrs. Martin. I'm sure the commission will recall we were before you a few weeks ago, and what this involves is some unpermitted work in the buffer zone. And we reported the last time that we were here that the property owner, after seeking out several different consultants, had selected and hired Maria Hickey to prepare a restoration plan. And the board wanted us to commit to a hearing date to keep this thing moving for filing an NOI, and the date of today was selected. We have worked in good faith and diligently to try to get the application together, but when we agreed to the date, we hadn't yet consulted with Cape and Islands, and it took a little bit longer for them to get the work done. And that's not disparaging them, it's just we didn't talk to them before we committed to the date. The good news is that yesterday a notice of intent was filed, and so we are ready to go forward. And I would simply ask for a further continuance of the matter so that we can hear the NOI at the next hearing.
Do you have a date?
Got a date there, Alyssa?
Yes, so that has been scheduled for the August 27th. Hearing will be advertised next week, so we can choose the same day if you'd like.
That would be great.
I'll move to continue this until the 27th of August.
Driscoll second.
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue to August 27th. Any other comments, questions from the board? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
Patton, aye.
Ron.
Driscoll aye.
Bowman, aye.
Dave.
Yeah, Kent, I.
Robbins, aye. So we continue to August 27th, Brian.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone. I'll see you on the 27th.
Thank you,
Hi,
Brian.
Brian. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Under the next one is Jane Furr, 2622 and 0 Shoreview Avenue. Map and parcel are 39-02C-000-504, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted removal of salt marsh vegetation and unpermitted reconstruction of a deck within conservation jurisdiction. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. So I did provide an updated staff report. Tom has provided a site plan of the property. For the record, the quorum is Courtney, Russ, Ron, and Steve, and I'm double checking it, and that's it. So you guys are the ones that have copies of the plan. Tom did address the unpermitted deck expansion and how to reduce that so it's not moving closer, and where he can mitigate and proposed mitigation. There is also a proposal before you through that plan to maintain the 2 existing pathways that currently exist through the salt marsh. I think at this time, if Tom can, on behalf of the homeowner, grant permission for the commissioners on the quorum and myself to visit the property, to view it, take some photos, understand what we're working with, we can adjourn next time to perhaps settle the matter and issue an enforcement.
Yeah, okay. I'm Tom Bunker at BSS Design, and the best I can say is that the homeowner is frustrated, and I could not get a good answer from her about giving permission to go on her property. And I don't know if she was reluctant to give it, and I don't know that I can give it without her say so.
Okay.
I was emailed just while other hearings were going on, and
I did not foresee this as a potential option tonight, but
no, well, I
yeah, I understand. You're just representing, and I appreciate you being here to speak with us on the matter. For those commissioners that are on the quorum, were you able to review the site plan that was submitted? If there was any.
I have not had a chance to look at it really close, no.
Okay. Yeah, I think we were all intending there would be an opportunity to go out and kind of
It was
digest
marked
it more.
on visit.
For the future visit, sort of promised in that, yeah.
Yeah, that's typically how we do it here. Well, I wouldn't want the commission to vote tonight without having really looked at the plan. So perhaps we could continue for a week. You guys can review the plan, and I would say that next week we issue an enforcement order based on what we can determine from aerial photos, with the caveat that upon at some point needing to be on site, there might be additional work needed. I would like to leave that open.
yeah, so I don't know if I can talk to her again tomorrow to see. I mean, if I were to, would I have to give you permission tonight, or is it something if I can talk to her tomorrow and say, yeah, you can go on the property?
I mean, I don't think the board would necessarily only have tomorrow, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, to go out there. If we were to receive permission in 24 hours, would that still provide everyone with enough time?
I mean, if you get permission tomorrow, yeah, I think we would have I personally would have enough time, I think, to get out there. If we get the permission tomorrow.
Next week, we're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They want to have the hearing, continue this on to the 13th, so I think if you get permission tomorrow, it'll be plenty of time. That's my personal opinion.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
I know it'll work out better if you can be there.
And take the plan with us,
So we should continue it for 1 week, Mr. Chairman. That would be my motion.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion to continue until the 13th and a second by Ron. Any other comments or questions by the commissioners?
Could I ask one question?
Sure.
One thing she was wondering, is it one property or the other property or both properties? I know that there's the deck is on one property and the paths are on the other property. It would just basically be both of the properties that you'd like to enter.
Yeah, I mean, whatever's on that plan. Yeah, that's what I want to be able to do.
Right.
So
it's all one map parcel. It's all one map parcel, isn't it?
It's
on two. It's on two map parcels.
It is.
Only one listed here.
I know, but we're seeing 46. I mean,
well, it's advertised as 3. There's the house parcel. There's the parcel just south of it. And then lot 504 is the one that actually touches the water. So they're all owned by the same property owner, but 2 are just undeveloped parcels.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to continue to the 13th. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
Pat and I.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
And Robbins is aye. So we're continued to the 13th. Thank you, Tom.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Tom.
Thank you.
Good.
Good night.
The next one was continued earlier, so we don't have to look at that at 15 Moses Road. So now we're on to orders of conditions. The first one up is Joanne Burke, trustee 5 North Chop nominee trust, 5 North Chop Lane, East Falmouth, Mass. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. Just getting my papers here. Yes, so this was a proposal to add a small pool to the side of the property. The patio portion was removed. Just a walkway was added instead to reduce the overall coverage they need to mitigate for. They're also removing a portion of unpermitted patio, a small section of permitted patio. Reduces their mitigation to a more manageable amount for the property. They're going to do some reconfiguring with the beach grass that's there. They're also going to be replanting the struggling and dead formerly required mitigation on the property. We do need a revised plan just to address the outstanding bayberry planting requirement. It was planted along the wall and is not doing too well, so we just need that square footage installed somewhere else.
Okay. Comments or questions? Comments, put it that way. Anybody?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll move to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Fiscal second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to issue order conditions as discussed. And do we need to add in the part about the revised plan, Alyssa?
That can be included in the as discussed, as long as everyone agrees with it.
Okay.
And I believe everyone except Ron Driscoll.
Okay, so did you second that one, Ron?
I'll
No, I
second it.
did.
No, you did.
You made the most. Ron second. I'll second it.
All right, so we got Courtney and then Ronnie. How's that?
Great.
Okay, so Court,
Bird eye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Dave,
Can't I?
and Robbins is an aye. All right, next is Joshua Cardoza, 40 Mary Manuel Way, Falmouth, Mass.
Yay.
What's up? This one's been around for a while.
Yep.
All right, so I believe the quorum is everybody. Yes, so this is a house proposal on a currently undeveloped lot at the end of a cul-de-sac. We did get revised plans from them showing a septic system proposed for the property. As Jen noted the last time, it mostly meets our regulations. There's just a teeny tiny portion of it that is within the buffer to the coastal bank. And I think we just need a revised plan. I have something about revising the limit of work. I think it needed to be tweaked somehow.
It was a little close to buffer zones and kind of inside of the zone A, salt marsh, all that.
Yes, can't be inside the zone A. So just to move it just outside of it.
To move what, Liz?
The limit of work, that erosion control is like
that.
that line of no crossing. So it was accidentally drawn in the buffer. So we just have to move it out of the buffer.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
No worries.
Courtney.
So when are we gonna require that they submit a revised plan?
Yep.
No, I say when.
We can condition it prior to signing off on a building permit or any clearing, anything.
Yeah. Just make it real clear. Okay.
Got it.
So should I make a motion to close it? I'm sorry, to accept an order of condition, issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Great.
Pat and second. Ronnie second.
A motion and a second. Wish order conditions of 40 Mary Manuel Way. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'm going to call a roll. Courtney.
Bird eye.
Steve.
Pat and I.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Dave.
Can't I?
And Robbins is an aye. All right, so we've issued order conditions. Anything else tonight?
Yeah.
No.
What happened at 11 Madeline? I missed it.
What happened? We closed it, didn't we?
Yep, we closed it.
All right, so did he go over the dry wells and stuff there? They had one proposed dry well in the back, which I don't know if that would be sufficient to do the whole house.
They are proposing a second. He
And what-
he added that to the presentation.
And then what about the tree removal?
They asked for additional removal with that 3 oak clump, and the commission was responsive to that.
So they said remove or keep?
Removal
Remove.
is okay.
And the 3 along the driveway, they're
Not
gonna stay.
removed.
Not
Not removed.
And how about the big oak in front of the clump? There
I
was like
think that was already proposed because of the leaching.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
double
that
check.
the roots we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Mhm.
All right, thank you.
All right. I
Don't
need one
wanna
more
hold you guys
motion.
up.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Patton second.
Can we give a
Driscoll
second?
second.
Bowman, aye.
Robbins, aye.
Bird eye.
Can't I?
Yeah, we are adjourned.
Good night.